We are told the world is fair, that if we work hard, stay honest, and follow the rules, things will eventually work out. But if that were true, why does corruption keep winning? Why do dishonest systems survive longer than honest people do? Why does doing the right thing often feel like a disadvantage in our world? Today, I want to talk about the corruption, not as a crime, not as politics, not as anything in the system that we talk about, but as a system that quietly eats away our world and our future. We usually think of bribes, stolen money, politicians when we hear the word corruption. But corruption is much bigger than that. Corruption is any system where power is abused for unfair advantages and the system protects it. This may include things like nepotism, favoritism, laws written for the powerful, silence in the face of wrongdoing, systems where who you know matters more than what you know. Some corruption is illegal, some is perfectly legal but deeply unfair. And the perfectly legal corruption is the most dangerous. Corruption doesn't usually start big, it starts small. One person bends the rule, another looks away. Once power is gained, the rule changes. And once the rule changes, corruption no longer becomes an exception, it becomes an operating system. At that point, honesty is no longer rewarded, it is punished. That is why corruption survives. Not because everyone is evil, it is because the system rewards the corrupt and exhausts the honest. You see, in a corrupt system, jobs don't go to the best candidates, contracts don't go to the most qualified, leadership doesn't go to the most capable, opportunities don't go to those who deserve them. They go to those with access. And over time, this creates a society where competence is rare and mediocrity holds power. You see, corruption never affects everyone equally. The powerful and the connected are protected. The cost is mostly carried by the youth, whose futures are delayed or destroyed. The poor, who pay more for less. The honest, who burns out trying to survive with integrity. In a corrupt system, doing the right things becomes emotionally and financially expensive. And slowly, people are pushed towards compromise, not because they want to be corrupt, but because survival demands it. You see, corruption doesn't just steal money, it steals time, it steals potential, it steals trust. When corruption dominates, infrastructures decay, education weakens, innovation slows, violence increases, hope disappears. Bad leadership reproduces bad leadership, and broken system recreates itself. The future becomes smaller, poorer, and more fragile. Here is the uncomfortable truth. Many systems were never designed to be fair. They were designed to maintain control. Power naturally wants to protect itself, so it concentrates, it rewrites rules, it resists reforms. That is why corruption is hard to defeat. Because the system often works exactly as intended, but it's not just for everyone. The most dangerous state of corruption is not even when people are angry, it is when people get used to it. When phrases like, that's how things are, nothing will change, we will just survive, becomes a normal thing. That's when corruption stops becoming shocking, it starts being permanent. You understand? Not pretend that corruption has an easy solution. It doesn't. But awareness matters. Refusal to normalize it matters. Integrity matters, even when it is very costly. Because a corrupt system doesn't collapse overnight, it collapses slowly. When people lose belief in fairness, effort, and the future itself, and when the belief is gone, rebuilding becomes much harder. Corruption isn't loud, it's quiet. It works in the background, and by the time people notice the damage, it's already deep. The question is not whether corruption exists. The real question is how much of it are we willing to accept before there's nothing left to protect?